Yeah, I just got back watching The Conjuring Last Rites, which is the 10th installment in the Conjuring universe, like The Nun, The Curse of La Llorona, and my favorite, Annabelle. Crazy how it all started back in 2013. Our favorite duo is back, Lauren Warren and Ed Warren, who seems to be retired from the whole demon chasing thing and trying to live more like a normal family life with their daughter, which seems to have the same gifts as her mother. Sure, why not? It's the last one, right? But one day, a family in Pennsylvania came into possession of a mirror that seems to be haunted. The more the family tried to ignore it, the worse it got. And with little options, they turned to the one thing that they had to use, the media, and hopefully getting the attention of the Warrens. So is this a good horror film? And can this be a great send-off to the Conjuring franchise? I think it is a finale for at least our favorite duos. If you're in it for those two, yeah, I think it's a proper for those. But to be honest, for a horror kind of film, not so much. I didn't feel any kind of afraid in the film, really. I never really got that much jump scare. Maybe twice. But to be honest, it wasn't really that much scary. It was mostly about like a family kind of life. It's mostly about their backstory, what they'd had to do for their daughter and so forth. Like, it's just mostly about family. That's what the film was mostly about. And obviously they do come across with other families that they had to help out. And obviously no matter what they keep doing, they know that they have this haunted house that they don't want to get rid of because obviously they can't afford to leave or go somewhere else because, money troubles. But I definitely do like the characters, especially this new character that they had, Tony. And Jodie, I like Jodie as well as the daughter. Jodie is just there basically kind of having the mantle, basically trying to see if she could carry like the legacy of the future for the family, but it doesn't seem that way. So what do I like about this the most? I definitely like 100% the characters. I enjoy them very much. I like the Warrens. I definitely like Jodie as a new character. I definitely like Tony as well. He's there as, the boyfriend and basically him trying to be part of the family with, how they're Ghostbusters way, like cracking down. He's just curious if what they see is actually real because obviously everybody thinks, or at least most of people think that they're just lying. They're just a hoax. And basically they just don't believe them. But obviously there's still some people that actually do see them as pioneers pushing the spirits away and actually helping people out. But not a lot of people see that, especially in the church where they kind of go like, yeah, they're pretty much infamous, so people don't trust them very often. But obviously there's only a couple people that actually do trust them and they actually experience their work. That's when you see all, in the basement, you start seeing all those collective items that you see from all over the Conjuring universe. You see even Annabelle right there, just a doll, basically the most famous doll out of them all. And basically, I think it's probably the best movie out of every single one of them. Maybe except the first Conjuring. I like the first Conjuring better instead of, this one. To be honest, I don't think this is basically the best one, especially for a horror film. I don't think it got that spookiness, and I don't think it has that pizzazz as the first one or maybe the second one. I do think Annabelle is probably even better than the rest of those. I think Annabelle is probably the highest one for me. And the funny thing is, she does show here a little bit. So you can't have a finale without Annabelle. What I also like about this at the most is basically the other family. The other family takes it for at least the most spooky part because that's all it happens. In Philadelphia, that's where the spookiness does happen the most. But in the other side where the Warrens, they do have a little bit of phenomenal paranoid activity, but not too much. It's mostly the other side. The other side is 100% where it gets all the craziness and there's one part that I definitely like. It's where the dinner scene, it does get a little bit ridiculous in the final act. It's The Conjuring. It gets ridiculous in the very ending, especially how they handle that. I think it does go a little bit too ridiculous in that area at the most. So basically, it is just a final act just for those two and having the most good send off that you can for those characters. So obviously, it's not the worst, it's not the best. I don't think I was scared throughout the whole thing, but there was some spooky stuff when it's not concentrating on the Warrens. So basically, when it goes to the Pennsylvania family, that's when you get your spookiness, your paranoid activity. That's the part where you get it, and it's well worth it. So if you're not gonna come expecting for a big horror like finale and stuff, it does get ridiculous most of the times, but I think it's an okay and alright movie. So that's why I think I'm gonna give this a C, an average C. It's a casual film. I think it gets some things right. I think, especially when you're coming here to see a horror film, I don't think not a lot of fatalities happen here. There's only like one. I feel like it should have been a movie that should have been like a slaughter fest at least. And it's basically just concentrating on the family and moving on, and that's pretty much it. Could have been a better movie? Yeah, it could have been, but I think this is the best that we'll get, especially since the Conjuring franchise has been going on for 12 years. Needed to be put to rest and move on to do some other things. So I'm excited for whatever they're going to be bringing to the table, but I'm glad that they finally ended it and just put a nail in the coffin once and for all. So yeah, the last Conjuring wasn't as scary as I hope it would be, but it wasn't the worst in the franchise. I wish it would have been a lot more scarier, but it was a nice farewell for the Warrens at least. But either way, thank you guys for listening. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later, guys.